name is Hector Zarate. I came to this country when I was 17, almost 18. Um, that was 30 years ago now. And I was born in Spain. I went to boarding school. I think most of my siblings did as well. A pretty traditional household. My father was in sales. Nothing really terribly extraordinary. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, even though she had no kids to stay with. But that was very common too. I mean, it wasn't anything extraordinary.
Okay.
Really, just the basics. What you might read in magazines or books, news, things like that. Nothing really as far as the history or I think that the most attractive thing for me was the possibilities. Was just you could come here and start over, and if you worked hard, if you did all the things that you're supposed to, you could really achieve anything. That really was for me the most attractive thing, and it seemed a very embracive, welcoming place as well. Well, it wasn't difficult. No, my situation, it was a little bit unique. I wasn't really that close to my family. I went to boarding school, seeing them really only twice a year from the time I was a very young person. And so of course, there is a little bit of hesitation, but no, it was not. It was not difficult. I very much was ready for an adventure. Well, for me, and I'm sure that has changed a great deal. But for me, it was a series of first I arrived with a student visa, and though I never really did go to school to learn English, that was my first step, and then applied for a residency, which back then, again, 30 years ago, was not quite a daunting exercise that it is today. I was not. I came. My brother lived in Minneapolis for a while, and when I first came, my intent was to learn English. However, I didn't go to school for it. I think, and I maintain the best way to learn any language is to fully immerse yourself. Of course, it helps when you are young and able to retain much of the information. And I don't really think you ever finished learning a language. So I lived with my brother in Minneapolis for a little bit, but his marriage came to a sudden end, and he moved on, and I remained there for a few years. I visited prior as a kid. I guess the first place was California.
Okay.
And I imagine as for any foreigner, especially a foreign kid, it all just seemed incredibly exciting and new and bright and full of possibilities.
Okay.
But when I arrived in Minneapolis, it was I guess not quite an adult, but a young adult. That was the first place I saw. I got off the plane, and I've never felt such cold. It was I think it was October and late October, and it was already quite cold, and it did make me question what I'd done, but I'm glad I did.
Weird customs.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I'm not so sure. Everything is strange.
Yeah.
You know, starting with the language and just how America has a very fast approach to life. That it takes a while to get used to. But it's what makes it so exciting. I started working, actually worked for, had a few minor missteps, and but then I worked for a department store called Dayton's. Later became Dayton Hudson, and eventually what we know now as Macy's in Minneapolis. Worked for them for 5 years.
Okay.
And then went on to work for another retail place, and with them I moved to different places around the country. I lived in Tennessee for a little bit. I lived in New York for a little bit, and ended up in Chicago. Well, I didn't. I met my now significant other when I was living in Chicago, and that's how I ended up here. I would think I'm pretty Americanized. I consider myself an American. I am I'm trying to go through the process to become an American citizen. Yeah, I don't very much identify as a Spanish person anymore. It's been too long, I think, and I came of age really living here, and it's just been, I've become who I am here, and I think it's had a lot to do with with becoming the person that I am today. Well, certainly unusual election. I think it's a cyclical election topic. We always hear about it, that in different degrees of negativity, but certainly it has always been a hot button issue. I certainly understand the frustration of many people have with immigration, but I also think it's what has made this country much of what it is today. And it cannot be denied that you see it everywhere you go. Just think of this little, where we are, and how many of us are called this place our home, Zarate. And there are certainly a lot of us that live here. It's part of the fabric. It can't, it's just embedded. It can't, and I think it always has been. I certainly don't care for the tone in this most recent election. But we'll see. That's a melting pot. I think we are, but America is not so unique anymore in that regard. I think we are becoming a global. We're globalizing ourselves, as it were. I think we're all just we're starting to think of places differently. We are we don't certainly have the same attachment to the place we were born as before. You know, as the economy as well becomes more global, people move and transfer to other countries, and so the world just keeps shrinking all the time. One thing I really commend you in doing this. It's a great opportunity for young people to put a face to the topic of immigration and see us for more than just the scary word itself.
Yeah.
You know, and in many ways, it, um, it it gives you the chance to get a little bit of these people's lives. And especially now with what's going on around the world with refugees and what they're going through, it really is time to think differently about immigration than we have in the past.